Big shout out to our sponsors. Listeners, don't miss out on these amazing deals. Get 10% off Psych Plus, the best e-pump on the market. 35% off Frey Skincare for skin that sweats. And 25% off Genki Wellness nutrition packages. All using the coupon code ZONE2SPEAK at checkout. Head to the podcast description for all the links and grab your exclusive discounts today. And now for the episode. Hi everyone, welcome to the Zone to Speak podcast. I'm your host, Juliana. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Zone to Speak podcast. Today we have a special guest, Jimbo Safi, the creator behind Safi Bikes, a brand dedicated to building high-quality bikes for the adventurer and explorer. Jimbo is not only an accomplished endurance athlete, but also a passionate bike builder, known for his commitment to craftsmanship and design that's tailored for rugged riders and ultra-cycling distances. In this episode, Jimbo dives into the story of Safi Bikes and what inspired him to start creating bikes that can handle anything the road throws at them. He also shares the incredible story of Looping Gramps, an epic solo ride against the elderly solitude, and also raising funds for cycling without age. Welcome to Zone to Speak, Jimbo.
He's going. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for making the time. Excited to chat with you.
Thank you. You probably need to tell me to move on with the topics because I have a lot to tell, and I don't know how much time we have. So yeah, let's dive into it. I'm again super excited. I'm an open book, so I don't hide anything, and I'm happy to tell and yeah, let everything out of my head and my mouth and my heart. So let's do it.
Let's kick off with Safi Bikes. How did this start? I know you spent some time at BMC. Tell us what inspired you to start building your own bike.
Do you want if you ask me that directly like that? The answer is my ego. It was my ego. Now Safi Works is not my ego, but it took me some years to actually accept that I was doing Safi Works because I just had this ego of putting on a down tube what it will be my name, which is not even my real name. So that's actually the last part of the story. But actually, Safi Works just comes from I studied engineering, and I first discovered cargo bikes. Like as a solution, as a very complex design, the vehicle, human powered and so on. And that's how I got into bikes. I actually moved to Italy to study. I was studying automotive engineering, and instead of going to Ferrari, Maserati, of these opportunities that I had in front of me, I ended up building cargo bikes with like handmade cargo bike with an artisan. And there is where everything to me kicked off completely. Like my deep passion for bikes, and also I couldn't even define what I like from bikes back then. But I knew that I was on a discovery path. Moving a bit quicker on the story because otherwise we will run out of time. In university, I basically focused on designing cargo bikes, on everything related to bikes instead of cars or whatever the other guys were doing. And then I discovered regular bikes, and since I loved doing, I even said in the past I loved doing things with my hands because now I will also tell what is the status of Safi Works. I thought that the organic next step was to build bikes. I took this one course. I spent a lot of time with different frame builders. I was actually working on a frame building school, teaching others. Like I had enough, I wouldn't say the knowledge, but I had enough knowledge to start selling a bike, which is very different. Knowing how to build a bike and knowing how to build a bike that is good enough to be sold. So I put that name on the down tube, but I started building those bikes myself. And I very recently knew that I didn't want to be an artisan or a frame builder or a framing designer or whatsoever. I aimed, and I still do, to have more people on those bikes. So I stopped building bikes like 3 years ago or so. And since then is when I moved to BMC, because I thought that will be the best thing to do to hopefully in the future make Safi Works happen as I wanted it to happen, which is basically on a more scalable format. And so I'm right now, and again, I'm going very quickly through the story. I'm now transitioning since a few years the brand from I want the hands from the mustache guy to build the bike. I'm transitioning that towards I want the bikes that are conceived by the mustache guy. But I don't want to build the bikes myself because I want more people on these bikes. I think I have much more power and it's much more fulfilling and it has more impact for me and for others being out there as I'm being out there on the community, inspiring, explaining the product, promoting it. I don't care what's written on the down tube. Safi is my brand. There are other brands. I also think what I will offer with Safi, if I make it happen as I want to happen, is not offered by anyone. But here's where my ego hits again. But the whole mission is to get this product more known, better explained, get people to test, get people to talk, and someone else building these bikes. So right now, Safi orders are still closed, and I'm getting bikes every year built by someone else, which helps me to basically to continue with my mission, which is getting these bikes out at the highest quality and human standards. Because the people that are building the bikes for me, they have much better hands than I do, and they are even better humans than I am. So, and also I recently, a couple of years, maybe even less, understood that the richness of my life is being a mix of many ingredients, which I'm not choosing one. I have always thought that I had to choose that one ingredient, push it straight line. Whereas what has taken me here, in case I'm somewhere, but definitely I'm what I want to be, is the richness of the diversity. And if I will be coming back to the building bikes, I would just spend way too much time on way too much time on one single thing, and it would take me nowhere more than being a better frame builder. And I have so much respect for those who are doing that and admiration, and that's why I never call myself frame builder, although I know how to build bikes. And honestly, a key ingredient of this step, of transitioning step, is finding the right people to build the bikes, which is Cicli Barco in Italy. It's actually not launched yet, but we're making it official in like next month. And to me, I'm super proud of this. I'm just so proud that those hands and those minds are making my products happen. Same as as I said, I'm out there and I just know a lot of people from the things that interest me, and I always admire them crazily. Like, to me, they're the best hands in the planet for such product.
And where are they? You said they're in Italy, or are they in Spain?
Yeah, not in Italy. Yeah, and when they showed me that they will also, how to put it, that they will also find inspiration in me, and that we started talking about that potential collaboration. It's like, wow, is this really happening? So it's insane. I'm riding the bikes I want to ride, which to me is key for my happiness and my path. While having time to show them out there.
What is the unique features that Safi Bikes are suited for?
Yeah, so basically more than features, that it's not really about features, it's about, and probably I will get told off for a few, but I think it's very real what I'm going to say. There's not high-end steel company pushing steel on a bigger scale to reach more people, and kind of getting that part of getting out of the bubble of people who is already interested in steel and going beyond that, and having the ambition actually to break those boundaries, but not by sitting on the couch, but actually being out there while having this technical background as I have. My bikes look beautiful, probably. That's what I think, at least, but they perform good. And I come from that. And then the fact that they are beautiful, it comes afterwards. To me, it's equally important, though, but they go together. And basically, there's no brand out there offering this. Yeah, what I consider beautiful, the beauty that I see with my eyes, but also with taste and so on, to me, lives on the simplicity. I'm not someone who is behind the latest and greatest and hyper ultra designed stuff. I try to kind of educate my eyes and my taste to enjoy simpler things and tastes, and it comes to everything, from music to bikes to food or whatsoever. And this is one big part of it, basically making very simple bikes cosmetically very beautiful, but also push the product, understand the product, that it can perform definitely as good as it should for the vast majority of riders out there. I don't think steel bikes are for everyone, but they are for an enormous amount of people that today they're not even aware that it's actually an alternative. I think the steel bikes they're not the solution, but they're a good alternative. And also it comes to this it comes together with the simplicity, but it's bikes that basically last long aesthetically. And it's a fight that I hate in all industries. So I try to find against it. There's really a lot of I could talk forever, because these actually, as I said, it could apply also to aluminum or to titanium or whatsoever. But to me, steel is a choice, not because it started as the material that it was easier to work with my hands, and now I have gone through the whole loop of materials. Is the material I believe on, the metal I believe on, beyond the other possibilities that you see out there.
I would love to try. And I also think, I'm not super educated on the comparison between all the materials, but I know, for example, everybody's crazy about carbon. I got a titanium bike, which is much heavier than my other carbon bike. And actually, I can go longer because I'm much more comfortable. And I also feel really good because it's recyclable. All these carbon bikes are not recyclable, and that's just going to end somewhere, a big pile that you cannot do anything with it.
I agree on the, and again, we are taking a lot of time for this, but I'm super happy to talk about it. I also agree that carbon ends up in the landfill, but to me, and I don't say that it's hard to avoid. I don't want to say that, but as long as the product has been used long enough, it's sad, but I don't know. To me, it's like another layer, because first, let's use it as much as possible. Once that happens, let's try not to make it ending at the landfill, right?
Yeah.
I completely agree. But I use carbon wheels. I use carbon maybe, also, but there are components that aesthetically, again, they last longer. They are more simple when it comes to design. But also, I always try to choose simple designs, well designed, but simple shapes and so on. So, and then probably these guys will end up also in the landfill.
So let's talk about Looping Gramps. I first heard of you because of Looping Gramps. I'm also supported by Restrap. So I saw that they are supporting you. And then I was like, wow, this guy looks so cool. And when I read what you were doing, I was blown away because nobody ever partner, if you will, with the elderly. And you're trying to bring attention to elderly solitude, how this came about and what's happening now with Looping Gramps.
Yeah. From a very emotional, if I talk from the emotional driver, it was actually to put together everything and everyone I love and I believe on, and it goes vice versa, and like it goes all the way from my family, particularly my grandma, the company I'm working for, so my 9 to 5 job, also my privileged position in the bike field, and the access I have to brands, and also my channels, and also I used to be someone like very I wouldn't say responsible, but at least I was very conscious, and I was very touched by the social issues happening around the world. And it's been a few years that somehow this is not that much. I think I have become a little bit selfish in this regard. So it was time to actually bring it back and keep contributing to society in this way. Plus, this year I have not bikepacked, and I love bikepacking. And this year, yes, I didn't have time to do it. So I put all that together, and this was the driver. But also, if I go to my first pillar was family. On Christmas, every time I do a challenge on the bike, my grandma lighting up a candle to symbolically take care of me. And this past Christmas, I gifted her with the biggest candle I found on the candle store, and it was sort of a voucher to do a massive challenge. By keeping with the pillars and the foundation of the project, I wanted to involve her. I wanted to involve my whole family, and in particular my grandma. I just want to continue doing bike stuff without compromising family time or family growth or whatsoever. Whereas I've always found that exclusive. Now I'm trying to make it inclusive and even feed each other. So yeah, instead of giving her a tracking link or calling her at the beginning and at the end, I proposed her to build it together, to put it together, that it will be our project. And we were also, this woman has helped 2 generations, and everyone who is around her is a gift for the planet, and she has now this need to help the world, right? Because she watches it on the news. She really helps in a very local way, but there's a wall that she's not helping. And I always told her, together we are gonna make the world a little bit better, a little bit more humble, a little bit more conscious. And we were looking for this. It's been years that I told her, and I went to her. It's the time to do it. It's right now. Let's do it. That's our candle. And we were looking for more obvious causes, like related to the third world, or wars or whatsoever. And we realized that the cause was right in front of us. It was basically in taking care, spending time, involving elderlies in our lives, right? And that's where the name comes from, like Looping Gramps, like involving grandparents, elderlies. So we were kind of, the puzzle was coming together super naturally. The team, the crew of people who joined Looping Gramps from the get-go were absolutely fundamental. Like all the guys, the project, like from a draft, it became actually something very quickly. And it was like, okay, we're not gonna stop it. Let's do it. So then, I pitched it to the brands I was already collaborating, and a few others that they will help us to cover the costs of the project. And we quickly also knew which NGO we aimed to raise funds for, and that's Cycling Without Age. It's a Copenhagen-based NGO that basically they take on cargo bike rides to elderly people. And it's as simple as that. Again, it's just about emotions. It's about making these elderly feel the air again on the face, and also, and you too know how, like, the conversations you have when riding a bike or when being on the bike. I won't even say riding. And Cycling Without Age gives this opportunity to elderly. They loved it, and we're very quickly connected. So on October 9th, it was actually my holidays. I jumped on the bike and I lightened up the candle with my grandma, and I rode like a maniac basically until the candle went out.
Wow.
the aim of this project was basically, in the first instance, to get the elderly on everyone's mind, and before doing anything, before collecting money or before taking action or whatsoever, making people aware of how much this is an issue in our society. And I'm from southern Spain, and the more you go, and probably we are the less affected because of our culture, but the more you go to the north, the worse it gets. And it was, I basically wanted to walk the talk, inspired by my own example, and making people aware of how much it's an issue and how we all, even myself, I just look somewhere else. And it's
and elderly solitude, it's an issue, you know?
Yeah, like elderly, they just live shorter, but also more sad. Is crazy, but the numbers are insane. Like, I won't get you bored by hearing me with numbers and figures, but it's just insane. It's terrifying. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted just to, at least if you are not doing something for the elderly, at least you are aware that you are. It's like if you eat chocolate, at least you know that chocolate is not good for you. At least it's clearly indicated, and then you are aware. But it's you choose it that you are not doing it, right? Yeah, and I also promote that the more you give, the more you take back, and this applies immensely when spending time with elderly. Like, they're just so wise. I have so much respect for everyone that has even a day longer in this planet than I am. That I have respect for all the people.
About the nonprofit organization, Cycling Without Age, in Copenhagen, doing the work with the cargo bikes, taking the elderlies out on bike rides, and that's super cool. But how do you think cycling can help reduce social isolation among the elderly and strengthen the community ties? Like, how can others, like listeners, could get involved and help Cycling Without Age or Looping Gramps? Is there a route?
So the first thing that people can do is actually take action themselves and just go on the easiest and first thing, not even go, just call your grandma, call your grandpa, call your grandma's friend, if they're all there, sadly, maybe just call someone that is aged, and maybe and you think that would like to have a nice talk. That's the easiest. Then activities, and then the more you do, the better, right? So that's the first thing, to actually act locally as close as you can. Secondly, if you don't have the time, but you have that I wouldn't say the money, but that willingness to help, is basically help Cycling Without Age do it in the whole planet, and they're doing it, and they have the time to do it because it's what they do. So basically, please put some money on the cost. Like, it can be €1, it can be 10, it can be 100, but this helps a lot because it's a project that is working very good, but it's never enough. Like, it will never satisfy the whole planet. So it's very well put and allocated the money when going to Cycling Without Age. And that's it. And just talking about it is also important. Sharing the story, because to me was also very important. So I think, to me, I think there's three legs that at least I have never seen together, but really defines me or the project or both of them. And is the part of a challenge. Okay, so physical challenge and social cause. Normally these two, these are together, but they are never beautiful, these projects. They just people. Sorry for saying that, but I think they are not well communicated enough, or they don't make it attractive for all the public if they are not already social conscious or whatever, or triathletes or bikepackers or whatsoever. So what I wanted with Looping Gramps, first was to do a project that I will consume myself, that I will feel attracted myself to, and also to get to other people. My friends that are into DJing, the ones that are climbing, my grandma's friends, my young brothers, whatever, female friends, to all publish. And I think this is part of the success.
Yeah, it's beautiful. No, it's definitely inspiring. I hope your story reaches as far as it can, because it just looking at the pictures and reading about Looping Gramps, it does make me want to call my dad. You really see that the isolation of the elderly is there because of us, in a way, as a society, as a community, that we need to get them involved. I love cycling without age. What an idea. I hope they grow. Hopefully we get more people involved and more people to donate. Not just call your grandma or offer your elderly neighbor to go to the grocery store, but also get involved with the cause. It's super cool. I would love to ride a cargo bike and take a few grandmas around town. That sounds like fun.
The thing that I promote is that you or whoever can open what they call a chapter in the cities, like an affiliate, become an affiliate. We're opening right now in my hometown where I am, that there was not before. So this is actually also this is the biggest impact you can have, right? To actually involve and open a chapter in your city. That's the idea. Yeah.
I want to ride a cargo bike, period. So I'm guilty.
Yeah, already. So talking about the route, the only point that I knew I wanted to go, or my grandma wished, was visiting her home village, but in particular the house where she was raised, like a kind of a countryside house, which was completely on the completely opposite corner of Spain. I'm in the southeast, and Mugardos is this village here. The house in particular is Rilo, which is a neighborhood. It was in Galicia, which is the northwest, and I had 100 kilometers, but I didn't know how long the canal would last. But by seeing it, that was 40 centimeters long and 10 centimeters of diameter, I thought it would last more than, 1,000 kilometers. I could do it very fast, but I thought that it could last more. So I clicked with another. The whole idea of the heart was of the route was that it will be guided by my heart. Like I will do whatever I consider that will be more aligned with the project. And the second point that I decided was to actually visit it was the same place for my grandma, but for my grandpa. So basically his hometown, where again, same as her, as she does and she did. My grandpa has always shown me on pictures this village and telling me stories. And actually to me is where cycling is born in my family, because he was the first person cycling in my family, and actually only him. He's already in a better world, but him and myself are the only ones that were cycling, and to me it's everything where everything born. And so I really wanted to go to this village, and I will make 1,500 kilometers. And again, I think I thought that candle would last even longer. So I connected with, like you will see this, like, this is gonna last. So I can do a longer route. So then
it didn't last. You had to go faster. It didn't last as long as you thought. You had to pedal a little faster.
Actually, I have had like ups and downs in that regard. Like sometimes it was actually getting consumed very very quickly. Sometimes it will stop. So it was a bit of a question mark. And the third pit stop, the third checkpoint that I had was visiting what I consider that it is the best ambassador for Looping Gramps. Basically, is a friend. Probably you know her, Alison Jackson, the pro cyclist from Education First.
Yeah.
But she has an story with elderly that touched me so much. That like so deep and so. She took it super personal, and it was like, okay, you are the best ambassador. Like you represent this 1,000 times better than I do myself. So go visited Alison in Girona, starting from my hometown, which I'm incredibly grateful, because she just had finished her season like a few days ago, and she jumped on the bike 3 days after at 6 a.m. just to ride with me for a little bit. Like the last thing you wanna do. Was I admire that person so much. Like it's insane how much she's insane. Like how much he's giving to all fields and all publics and all. It's insane. She's incredible. So yeah, and when we visit her, she rode a bit with me, and then I made it to my grandpa's hometown, and I had a bit of a mental breakdown there because I was not doing the biggest challenge of my life at all, but I was just mentally completely exhausted before jumping on the bike. Like I jumped on the bike because I had to, but I didn't feel like riding my bike. Same all the times I don't want to exaggerate it. Like I was enjoying riding my bike, and I was not physically destroyed or mentally, and it's not that, but I was just stressed for actually I kept with my regular work, plus Looping Gramps added on top, and I got a dimension that I regretted many times, and it was taking me way too much energy, and then literally like the minute before lightening the candle, I was doing 1,000, and I'm really stressed. Like fuck, like I was not ready. Like I was not ready. It was time to.
But
to
maybe it was
rest to
good
me.
to jump on the bike and maybe.
That was
But I
the
guess
idea
with the
that I will get. That was the idea that I would get relaxed on the bike by. That I made a massive error, and is that I just got incredibly frustrated, and I actually knew something about me that and because I basically all of a sudden I lost the control of the project. The guys that they were working with me, and I still do, they're super good, but basically what I was in charge of, I couldn't do anymore because I was just riding, so I felt useless. I felt so useless on that. So I was riding the first 3 days with one hand on the bars, calling them every 2 minutes, trying to do the but I'm kind of laughing, but it was just wrong. It was so wrong. I was definitely not enjoying riding my bike. I had mechanical issues. I was not having a good time, and also I was too focused on what is only the third pillar and less important pillar of the project, which was performance. The other pillars that go before, that I just got a bit too ambitious. And in a way, nobody told me that I should ride like a maniac that much. I thought that it was necessary to get to the people, to make it attractive or whatsoever. But I was not connecting with the project. I was not connecting with the community, and I was not connecting, which is more important, with the elderly along the way. I was connecting with my grandma because I had this one call a day that we had it blocked, and regardless what happened, I will have that call. But I was just focused too much on writing and trying to keep control of the project, which was a completely disaster. Not the project, but my attempt to try to control
your mind,
it.
Yeah, it was too busy.
I was stupid, and the guys are so good. It was just me. Yeah, I don't know. Be careful. So that's fine. And so I was mentally destroyed in that way. Plus, at some point when you do these long rides, there's no juice anymore on the legs, and then there are pains and so on, which normally, it's fine. I'm riding on the road. I see it so easy riding on the road. Like there's no rocks to jump or over or rivers to cross. I'm just on the road, so it's easy, right? But basically, when there was no juice on the legs, I just I don't want to be riding. I was normally is when I do this kind of challenges, I click on my biggest strength is my mental strength, actually, my mental capacity of coping with the stuff. But this time it was empty before the legs were empty. So when I opened that drawer, it was just empty. So it's like, okay, I can't ride my bike. I need to re-steer everything. And from then, well, it was so smart to do it. Actually, not smart because I was forced to do it. But everything went so good from them. I stopped looking at Instagram. I stopped reading the emails of all the things that were going behind. I stopped and I connected with the project. I made room, emotionally and also time wise to make these interactions with the elderly along the way. So things happen, like things really happen. The community started to integrate much more with us. I was just happier. I was just more connected. I was listening my heart, and when I was not doing these things, I was writing. But I kept writing quite a lot, but maybe like 30% less, which doesn't sound that much, but it gave me that room for these kind of things. So at that pace, I made it to my third and only last checkpoint or place that I wish to visit, which was my grandma's house, and I called her when I was there, and she was just into tears, and she was just so happy. It was hard to describe. Like she was that place is so my grandma is not only very religious but also very spiritual, and for me, like, for having me there and with everything and kind of together that we kind of did it together. It was insanely nice, and showing her on the phone, and it was very beautiful. Then I spent that second half of the day around where she was born, and then I visited actually Cycling with Our Age, a chapter in that hometown. So I took an elderly for a cargo bike ride. I went visit my grandma's cousin, which is also such a wise. It was super nice. And then when I went to dinner, I was kind of all my solidarity tasks were done, and I was feeling bad by going to bed, because at the end there's that part of challenge and the candle is running, and so I really wanted to jump in the bike again, because the candle actually was very small at that time. So I really felt forced to keep riding. My grandma asked me, like, from the bottom of her heart that I should stay, and like that night, because it was late night, it was raining. And I really didn't feel like riding. Like I had 2 or 3 days of it rained way too much. That is the morning after, just passing by the town where my grandparents met for the first time. I received that call from my grandma. She was just saying, like, she was showing me the candle, like, hey, like, we did it. Like, we did. She was into tears. She was she was cheering. She was just she took it so seriously, the whole project. Like, she really connected with it. It was also on the 17th, which is like her magic number, where all the fortunate circumstances of her life has taken place. The 17th, that happened on the 17th, which was for her was just mind blowing. Again, she's very spiritual.
I was just gonna say that.
So these connections for her magic. Is like, exactly, there is magic behind, and she was just so proud, not because of the kilometers or whatsoever, but because she knew that we had just made the planet a little bit better, which is what I promised her, right? That little bit, she felt it. She was really aware. She was seeing me on different channels that she even knows, like newspaper or radio shows, like things that's like formats that she knows and she consumes. So it was super nice. It was super nice. It was like, and I'm glad that the candle went out there, because the plan was to continue riding, I don't know where, Portugal, Madrid. But honestly, to me, the project was finished, and mentally I didn't want to ride either. And I'm happy that the candle actually went off there.
Is there any other routes planned for the near future?
That's a very good question. When it comes to Looping Gramps, I'm working passively on making it become a platform. So now there is a brand, it has been pushed, there is a message, the thing is clear, but I don't have the energy and I don't want to keep kind of working on it and keep doing stuff myself. I can't. So it's not that I don't want, it's just that I can't. So I want to, I don't know how exactly, but I want to make it a platform where people can communicate, can inspire a very similar message, very similar cause, by just obviously matching the requirements that I will have, which to me is very, very clear. I don't know exactly.
I was going to say that because
ideas,
you'd be great to have something like that, a platform with like, I don't know, whatever requirements you think to qualify to be a Looping Gramps ride. And it would be great to have more people. I'm inspired. So as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, is there a route that I could go and bump into some elderly and just have a conversation or get some coffee together? Light the candle. Don't forget, they have to light the candle.
Exactly. Well, exactly. I don't, now I have this metaphor that I want to make, instead of a candle, a torch, like the Olympian torch, that I basically hand in around, but the flame never ends, right? And so I think in this project, this starting phase of Looping Gramps, there were way too many pieces of the puzzle that work together, and I don't aim for that every time at all. So trying to obviously, have some requirements and some musts, and what I want is to offer myself as obviously full support, obviously choosing the stories, helping them create the stories, helping them create the project, getting my assistance also to get to reach out to brands and so on. And then my ideal scenario, there will be like one Looping Gramps a year with very completely different stories, completely different people, but with a big common package of things. I gladly incredibly love my job, and it's also mixed with my personal life. And I miss that this past months. I think I've done a good job, but with Looping Gramps, I could. It has taken a bit too much energy. So what I'm more excited about is now to focus on my job. Just give my the best measure of myself and do my best and keep pushing what I'm doing, which I love, and I love the company and I love what I do, which is basically connecting with people, creating very organically and very authentically the community.
Thank you so much. It's been great to get to know your story, and I hope we'll chat again in the near future, because I'm sure you're going to be doing great, inspiring things.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy. I have had a great time. You also make it very, very easy. Even if we are not together, I feel like we are on the same living room. I applaud you for someone to speak. Keep it up. I think it's very important that for those doing stuff, that you make sure that people is aware of all that. So I think I really support very general people who contribute to do stuff, and this in particular even more, that actually even affects me directly. So keep it up. Thank you very much. Really.
Thank you. And that's all for today's episode. I want to thank the listeners for tuning in. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following, leaving a review, and sharing it with your friends.